Hey there! Today I want to talk about the best way to create a presentation for either you or your executive. We've all been there where we've lost interest in someone's presentation, or we start reading the slides instead of listening to them. Well, it is probably because the slides are visually boring, and if you are reading their slides, then they have too much information on the slide instead of just bullet points. Before starting a presentation, we need to allocate a lot of time in our calendar to prepare the presentation and handouts. Don't leave it to the last minute because it won't be our best work. And this is our time to stand out whether we are presenting or our executive is. So without further ado, here are some tips to help you create a great presentation. Tip number 1. Create a presentation with a time limit in mind. The best presentations are usually 20 minutes and 10 slides only. This doesn't include Q&A time after your presentation. Allow time for that. Tip number 2. Create a consistent look for all your slides. If your company has a good template, then use that. Otherwise, create your own. Use the same color background for each slide. Grey is usually a good background colour. Tip number 3. All font size for headings should be the same and the body of the font should be consistent as well, but smaller than the heading font. Tip number 4. Have a great cover page for your slide deck in anticipation of what's to come. Capture their attention from the beginning. Maybe you can start off with a funny story or a quote that relates to what you are presenting to break the ice before you get into the presentation. Tip number 5. Make your slides visually pleasing by adding a picture that correlates to the bullet points that you have stated. Tip number 6. Add only 4 to 5 bullet points to each slide. Don't add the definition for each bullet point to the slide. You need to explain it verbally and give examples, otherwise people won't listen. Tip number 7. Use screenshots as examples instead of text. So add a graph when need be, or some content that you are referring to or product you are highlighting. Tip number 8. Make sure that your slide deck is flowing in sequence and you are telling a story. People are more engaged when this happens. Tip number 9. Prepare handouts, but only distribute at the end of the presentation. You don't want your audience reading handouts instead of paying attention to you. Now you have completed your presentation, it's time to rehearse so you know how long it will take you. And remember, try to keep each slide no longer than 2 minutes. Also rehearse so you know what slide is coming up. If you are presenting in a new environment and to a new audience, make sure you get there an hour before presentation so that you can test the equipment and make sure you have all the AV equipment you need and it is in working order. If your laptop is requiring Wi-Fi to present, then connect to the Wi-Fi as soon as you get to the venue. Always have a USB on hand with your presentation in case you are having trouble connecting to the Wi-Fi. Well, that's it. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe and like. Thanks for watching.